Hello, I'm Paul Pluta. I'm the method actor who plays Archie Luxury, and today you're on the Paul Pluta channel. Quick wristwatch check. Omega Speedmaster, man on a fucking moon. Remember, like, subscribe, and tell your fuckhead friends about my channel. Don't forget, if you look in the description of this video, there's 10 ways you can keep me full-time on YouTube. Full-time, that's right, because I don't want a job. There's easy ways. Patreon, you can buy a coffee cup. All in the description. Look in the description. 10 ways you can help me. Okay, this is a paid review for David. Dear Archie, I guess I could need a little help. For 2 months I've toyed with the idea of buying a real watch and I feel somehow helpless. The only watch I bought during my lifetime until now is a vintage Casio G-Shock 10 years ago. I still like the watch, but now it's time for a real watch. I came across an article in a German magazine, newspaper, Faz, about the new Tudor Heritage Black Bays. As I wasn't aware of the brand Tudor, I was somehow fascinated and did some research on my own. The result? It has to be the Tudor Heritage Black Bay with black leather strap. I really like the classic design. In my view, it's much more vintage and does have a much more filigree form as the Rolex Submariner does. Also, the colors I like very much. But then I came across some vintage Tudor Submariners on Chrono24, and somehow I think I like them even more. Seeing myself wearing that watch just gives me the impression of me going on a safari by myself from Timbuktu to Tanzania or so, and that idea I like very much. I definitely have no idea what a fair price of such a vintage Submariner is. The price range on Chrono24 is between $3,000 and $50,000 for me. One that looks great. He sent me a link. As I said, I have no idea if it's a fair price they ask for. For a beginner, should I better go with a new one? How would you set your preference? $30 on its way to help you make a little YouTube video. I hope you can help give me some advice. Best regards to the other side of the world, David. David. Ooh, we're looking at vintage Tudor subs. And I gotta tell you, David, that's a cool genre. That's a very cool genre indeed. However, it's a minefield out there, David. It is a fucking minefield, that's for sure. It's full of uncertainty and snakes, and it can be very, very tough indeed there. I personally think the vintage market is gotta be very careful. Be very, very careful indeed. That's a pretty nasty, pretty tricky thing you've got to do there, because there are so many people who are out to fuck you over. And this is the whole thing. The market is full of nasty, vicious fuckers who all ain't what it is. I mean, vintage is a very difficult thing. I must admit, I have a lot of problems with vintage, because I remember buying Tudor subs, Snowflake sub, $200. I didn't really rate them much at all. And I gotta fucking tell you, that's pretty fucking nasty stuff now if you look at the prices. And this is what's happened. The prices have gone ballistic. Prices for these type of items have gone through the roof. So what do? Well, it's a good idea to consult the pontiff. That's pretty good. You're paying for advice, someone who may have a bit of 2 cents to throw in there. And I gotta tell you, I would say as a first buy, vintage isn't all it's cracked up to be, in the sense that vintage can be very, very, you got to know what you're doing, okay? There's so many, you know, it's not something I'd jump straight into. I'd preferably, because the thing about vintage is that you have to really, okay, just having a look here, $5,000, Jesus Christ, for a plastic black sub Mercedes hands, no bracelet, just a head only. Fucking hell, I remember buying these for like $1,000 and thinking, fuck, that's expensive. Circa 1992. Yep, well, that doesn't look like a bad piece, but $5,000? Fuck me dead. I gotta be honest with you, I don't think the value proposition is fantastic there. I really think this is kind of not, you know, I tell you what I reckon. I would be buying a Rolex. You can buy a Rolex Explorer 2 on a bracelet. You can get this for about 6,000 Aussie. So it's about, that Tudor is about, in my dollars, it's about 5,000. What's that? High threes US. For not much more, you can get a Rolex. A Rolex. Rolex is king. Tudor is the poor man's Rolex. Now, what's my opinion? I really think if it was me, you're buying your first, I mean, I understand you may love the Tudor thing, right? The Tudors are cool. Tudors are cool. Yes, I understand. The Tudor is a Rolex you have when you can't afford a Rolex, but there's some really good bang per buck things out there. Look at that. A Polar Explorer 2. Come on, work with me, not against me, big boy. Surely that's a better deal than a Tudor. My own honest opinion, I think there's some great Tudors. I absolutely love the Tudor Monte Carlo. That's a great chronograph. Reissue of a 1970s. I mean, an original one of those is 20,000 Australian. So they're a cool watch with the orange hand, two eyes and an orange hand. The Black Bay, I would say to you, now this one you've sent me a pic of, that's a 1991. So I would say it's a nice piece. It looks sharp and nice piece. It's a great piece. I don't know the dealer personally, but I'd suspect that it'd be, I think that's high buying. I think that's very expensive. I'd be buying a Rolex. I'd be getting value. See, what can you get a Tudor Black Bay for? What can you get? Let's have a look at this. Let's go back here. See, I really think myself, you get instead of getting a vintage one, I'd get a Tudor Black Bay. I reckon that would be cooler and cheaper, quite a bit cheaper. I reckon that's a cooler way to go. You know, I reckon that's the way I'd go. I think it's even more cool. Doesn't have the crown guards on it. I reckon that's cool. I reckon if you like the vintage look but you want the modern aesthetic, the modern convenience of waterproofing, etc., I'd go for a second-hand one, but I'd get one of these Tudor Heritage Black Bays. I think they are stunning. My good friend Mark has got two. He's got a black one and a blue one. They are stunners, absolute stunners. Yep, I reckon that's the way I'd go. The vintage ones are so specialized. Ooh, 5,000. That's a lot of money. I'd get a fucking Rolex for the same money. I reckon you could build a really nice collection. Tell me what you fuckers think of that. Archibald Chesterfield III, the greatest YouTube superstar of all time. The only super channel on YouTube is the Archie Luxury channel. The Archie Luxury channel, the greatest super channel on YouTube. Archie Luxury, the greatest YouTube entertainer covering the luxury goods genre, watches, luxury goods, and other auxiliary displays of wealth. The Archie Luxury Channel, the greatest YouTube channel ever to exist. The greatest YouTube channel of all time. The Archie Luxury Channel. Nothing could be grander than the Archie Luxury Channel, fuckers.
We specialize here in pre-owned Rolex watches. Rolex watch is a very special timepiece, and we always do the servicing exactly as factory specifications. We buy a pre-owned piece and we put it into brand new condition. We have Rolex certified technicians working on that. We completely disassemble the piece, we adjust and polish and change every single part of the watch.
You have to have certified watchmakers that know what they're doing. If you have an expensive car, you're just not going to bring it to any mechanic that doesn't know what they're doing.
You spend $5,000, it's like if you put money in the safe deposit box. And 1 or 2 years from now, you will keep having your $5,000. We have to spend a lot of money to get all this equipment together, but makes me feel I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's not a question of money, it's my passion.
Jewelers on time, simply the best.